Thanks, everybody. Along with UB Brown, I'm Kevin Calabro, and you take a look at these two individuals. They are both now mature players who are very much at the height of their powers in the NBA.
Well, I think when you look at Shaq is having a dominating season. He leads the league in field goal percentage at 61%, and his foul shooting is up to 62. Now, down inside, he's a physical force. He's playing 30 minutes a game, so his minutes are up. And then he's doing an excellent job in leading out of the post area. You can't foul him now because he's shooting such a solid percentage.
And Stephen Jackson having a career year for the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, they will not have an answer for Shaquille O'Neal tonight, but going small could be the answer. Jackson's the kind of guy that just does everything well on the floor right now, reaching, again, a mature level of play.
Well, the right word is maturity. When the coach says that you're the #1 player, that means that you're delivering under pressure. He's having career years in points at 21, the assists at 6.5, and the rebounding at 5. Now, you look at that and you say, what about the rebounding? He's second in the league for small forwards to LeBron James. The assists are outstanding for a small forward, so you love his game.
Up and down, both clubs score the basketball. We're going to have a track meet here tonight as the Warriors meet the Suns from Oakland in a moment. Jamal Crawford, Stephen Jackson, Brandon Wright, good young player out of North Carolina, and Ronny Turiaf, who was signed as a free agent in the offseason, coming over from the Los Angeles Lakers. Along with UB Brown, Kevin Calabro on hand. And UB, the Suns at 35-31 on the year, just 4 back in the loss column behind Dallas, who lost today to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Suns are still very much in the playoff equation, but this is a big game for them.
Very big, Kevin. You just, every team that you play under 500, you must defeat them. And then also you look at your schedule, counting tonight's game, they have 8 at home and 8 on the road. The problem for them all season long, meaning the Phoenix Suns, is their road record. They're only 15-18. That's why from now to the end, they got to get the big W's.
The Suns team 7-8 with Alvin Gentry, who obviously took over for the dearly departed Terry Porter. And they have been scoring the basketball with Alvin Gentry at the helm, averaging 119 but giving up 116.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with this team, and everyone keeps saying that it's an easy thing to do. You know, we score so well. What we'll do is we'll just do a better job with our defense. Well, the defense starts with defensive rebounding and then rotations on the back line. So that's the pressure on Shaq and then the undersized people that they're playing at the 3 and 4 positions.
Warriors get the first possession, and Monte Ellis coming off the screen uncorks a beauty and knocks down the jumper. Monte Ellis had his best game of the year in a win over Dallas with 29 points, 11 rebounds in the last outing, and more importantly, played 44 minutes in that game without any stiffness afterwards in the left ankle.
A lot of pressure here this evening on both teams. Transition defense, and this is what we mean right here. If you're not going to go down in there and take the charges, Kevin, well, then it's going to be a track meet.
Jason Richardson, they want to ISO him on the post. Fades on Ellis. And Turiaf will clear it away for the Warriors.
Yeah, what you have here tonight is there's a lot of one-on-one play from both teams. Phoenix will give you more pick and rolls and pick and pops.
There's a pick and pop for Turiaf off the mark in the rebound. Controlled by the Suns. Nash with the push ahead to Shaq. And at the rim, he is fouled by Ronny Turiaf. That's going to be the most difficult part for the Warriors, trying to match up against Shaquille O'Neal on that side.
Yeah, with Turiaf. Turiaf is one of the top shot blockers that we have in the league. Now he's a bruising type of a young man, but he's overmatched here tonight in size and in strength and in weight. The big thing for him is he must stay out of foul trouble, because if he has to go to the bench, then we're going to a player up from the development league in Davidson, and we all know that Shaq then will be able to wheel and deal at will.
Because Davidson weighs 230 pounds, and Shaq tips the scales on your official roster at 325. Free throws have improved as he puts a little more trajectory on that one, a little more loft.
Well, you know, his career, he's a 53% shooter. This year, 62.
Nice back cut by Jackson and an outstanding pass from Turiaf there, Coach.
I can't believe that, okay? I mean, that's hard to believe that all they did was just dribble a basketball and backdoor your man.
Nash gets the Suns their first bucket of the evening. Andris Biedrins is out of the lineup, sprained left ankle for the Warriors, and Marco Bellinelli is out with a turf toe. Of course, Amari Stoudemire is out for the regular season and for the playoffs should the Suns make the playoffs. Barnes leaks out and scores.
When you play against Golden State, you know that they only have one shot blocker. So the big thing is get on your transition game. Don't settle for jump shots. Take the ball to the rim.
Brandon Wright, the lefty, elevating, missing, and Nash the other way. Without Stoudemire, they give up 21 points. That's 8 rebounds, a block, 36 minutes of work. He's out with a detached retina in the right eye. In the meantime, Shaq in the post has a presence, spins, and goes up under Turiaf to lay it in.
See, there's nothing that they can do with Shaq. Shaq, we know, is invigorated this year. He's playing 30 minutes, and he's only missed 7 games this year, which is a major upset.
Turiaf slips the screen and hammers in a two-hander, assisted by Jackson.
Big thing for Turiaf, keep the pressure on Shaq, run hard in the transition game, and when you post up, take the ball to the rim.
Nash's scoring has picked up out of necessity in the absence of Stoudemire, and he rolls that one in.
Well, when you look at Phoenix, remember, without Stoudemire, you're taking a big body out of there at the high-low.
Ellis comes right back, and he strokes one down. Ellis opens up 3 for 3, and he's got the defensive assignment now on Nash. There's a little defensive play as Wright denies the entry. Ellis sails the other way. He'll pull up 1 on 4 and gunned it down. He opens up 4 of 4.
Well, I love his game. Unfortunately, he missed 43 games because of the surgery to the ankle, and then they gave him 2 weeks off. So we're just seeing the young man. He's finally getting back in shape where the field goal percentage is there. What you want to see for him, though, is the explosion in the open court and then making good decisions.
Stephen Jackson feeling his way down the lane, dragging O'Neal with him. Out to Jamal Crawford. Count it, and he goes to the line. A chance at a 4-point play as Richardson decked him on the closeout.
Now, let's talk about this. Now, we all know that Jamal Crawford is great at getting a 4-point play. All right, he's done it 5 times this year. But he has been fouled. That was his 20th time this year taking a 3-point shot. And people say, oh, that doesn't happen that often. Well, this guy, he's been fouled 20 times, and now that is his 6th 4-point play of the year. That's outstanding.
Crawford averaging close to 19 points per ball game, and where he ends up next year is anybody's guess. You know this, he's got 2 years guaranteed at 20 yards. Here's Shaq with a drop step spin and the jam.
Well, there's nothing Turiaf can do. I mean, Shaq is just overpowering him. And what I like about it, Shaq is spinning and going to the rim. He's not settling even for the jump hook.
Both clubs over 70%. Down low, Brandon Wright turns with the inside hand. He's 6'10", towers over Barnes, missed it, loose ball foul.
Now in the post play on the 2 catches so far, now watch Shaq. See that spin? Notice that the left arm just caught his defender. Now just watch it. See, well, there's nothing you can do because when Shaq lays his arm out there right now, it's like the side of the building moving and screening you. So you're not going to move it. Big fella's looking good early.
One of the reasons he loved the thought of coming over here to Phoenix was the fact that they had a great team of folks dedicated to rehabilitating injuries.
Yes, and they have done a great job, especially not only with Shaq, but with Grant Hill. Come on, Grant Hill, this is a 67th straight game this year. He has not missed a game.
Look at Shaq, double clutch under pressure, showing it all. Richardson intercepts the outlet on the inbounds and had it deflected out of bounds off Warrior hands, so the Suns will get it.
You're looking at Shaq's game. Shaq's game is great early here tonight. The big thing with Shaq, he's got to keep doing this. He's got to keep moving as we move through the game. Now, can he do this for the 30 minutes that he's going to be out on it for? Hopefully so, that they can even get more minutes, and then this type of destruction, shooting the high percentage, and it's just great because it's like a layup drill.
I think I'd throw him a bone, though, in the introduction and said he may be at the height of his powers. His best year individually was the 99-2000 year. He averaged 29.7, 13.7 rebounds and played in 79 games that year. Here's Richardson running in, and he banks one up and in, veering to his left. Nice move. Richardson, an acrobat in midair. Look at the score. 34 points combined. Not even 5 minutes in. Ellis missing and Nash on the run out. Richardson cutting a three. That's the second he's hit of the quarter.
Well, this being a home court for him, he played so well coming out of college for Golden State, and he had terrific seasons here.
With that team that surprised Dallas in the first round 2 years ago. Crawford comes down. He strokes a mid-range shot. How about 9 for 11 shooting for the Suns, Hubie? 8 of 14 at home here for the Warriors. That's 57%. Suns on top by 3. Richardson goes to work. Down on the post. Oh, denied in there by Anthony Randolph, the youngster from LSU. Barnes reloads. Randolph the other way. Crawford working. Luke Amundsen, the big man, drives in with an array of moves, but the scoop off the window, and Nash sails the other way. Brad Hill sidestepped the youngster. Randolph missed it. Cleared out by Wright. Crawford has room with Ellis behind.
Look out here. Oh, bad pass. Bad pass.
Right the other way to Randolph. The twin 6'10s right in his second year. Randolph, the 19-year-old in his rookie season, the youngest fellow right now in the NBA. And halfway through the period, look at the score. 22-21 Warriors. Barnes runs high pick and roll. Nice handoff to Amundsen. Denied in there by Wright. Had a piece. Nash. Oh, right back to Barnes. Watch Crawford whip it to midcourt. Ellis on the fly. Knifes between defenders. Randolph follows. Blocked by Barnes. And he came down with it, and a jump ball called by Mike Callahan.
This game is so wild. It makes Summer League basketball look small. Look like they're playing in slow motion. Now just keep an eye on this. There's a quick move by Shaq. He's been extremely active. We're seeing the type of game we expected. Everybody up and down. And please, can somebody defend?
Back and forth. The Warriors on top by 1. Shaq slowly moving his way forward here. Getting near the head of the line. Moving ahead of Dominique Wilkins. Then Oscar Robertson. Head of the O. Then who's next? Hakeem Olajuwon. Then moves past the Big E, Elvin Hayes. And he's 75 shy of Moses Malone for 5th all-time on the scoring list. Led by Kareem, Malone, Jordan, and Wilt. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's great company.
Yeah, and it's great to see that he's been able to do this. And also the fact that he's been able to play the extra minutes. But to catch Kareem, he would have to score 11,000 points. And also, Wilt Chamberlain for the 4th spot would be 4,000. So he's going to have to play a number of years in order to catch up to Wilt.
You kidding me? At this pace, he could do it tonight. 5 minutes left in the first period. And the Warriors up 4. They have combined for 46 points. Shaq rolls this one in.
Yeah, that's the old touch that Shaq had for many, many years. You know, people forget 13 out of his first 16 years he was an NBA performer. That means either first, second, or third team. And then 8 times he was first team All NBA. He's always had that beautiful soft touch.
Crawford fires a beautiful pass to Turioff onto Randolph. He's fouled as he went into the air.
Randolph's got a ton of talent. We know he's only 19 years of age. He's the youngest player in the league. And then you look at his frame, he's 6'10", he's a thin kid, but you know that they're going to stack it on him with the weightlifting and then also, you know, the diet. The big thing with him right now is he can block shots, score the basketball, and run in the open floor.
NBA calendar, you'll be some great games. NBA TV Tuesday, the Magic at the Cavaliers. TNT on Thursday, you've got the Blazers in Cleveland. The Warriors are taking on the Lakers in LA. Nice return to sender by Randolph there. And then Sunday on ABC, it's Miami at Detroit. That coverage beginning at 12:30.
Now look, if you're going to miss 2 foul shots, it's great to get the rebound and score. And you wonder what everyone else was doing on the line.
Matt Barnes soars into the air with a 2-hand hammer.
We know that Turieff, he's got to pick his spots about trying to, shot block. Right there, Shaq got away with a push in the lower back.
And a terrific pass from Jackson to Turioff. They really work well out on the floor. Don Nelson, before the game tonight, in conversation with Hubie Brown, told us that he needs a rebounder and he needs a team that's more cognizant of moving the ball passing. We need better passing, he said, but we also need another big body down low. It's pretty evident when they play a team that obviously is loaded up with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, well, how many teams have people who can play Shaq? You know, what you like to say is you do it by committee. The main thing is, though, when you double team, now you give up the 3-point shooting.
Ellis having a sensational first quarter of play. He's hit now 6 of 8. He has 12.
He's off to a great scoring start. Steven Jackson with 5 assists.
Nash off the high screen, lean-in fader, and a foul called on the shot. Steve Nash will become a free agent following this season. Nash in his 13th year, 35 years of age, going to the line. He is on pace for another season of 90-plus free throw percentage. That would give him 5 in his career. Guys like Reggie Miller and Ray Allen, Murphy and Price.
Now you can see what he's done over the last 8 games. He's playing extremely well. He's getting more shot attempts because Stoudemire is out of there, and the middle of the floor is more open because now all you have to do is deal with one post-up player or one guy in the middle of the floor, whether he's high or low, and that's Shaq. So you know that his opportunities are going to be there, and the fact that he just had 13 straight games where he's scoring, up over 20 points. That's kind of staggering when you think about it.
And a 93.8 free throw percentage. If that stands, that would be an NBA record. Mark Price currently holds the record at 904. Jackson is knocked down by Dudley. And a foul called in that action. They're going to say it was on the pass.
Barbosa's coming in here now for Nash, and I really like what's happened with Barbosa because in the last 2 months he's been able to get in shape. He missed the entire exhibition season because of the illness of his mom. Then he missed the early part of the year because his mom passed away. But now he is in shape, and they need him for the major push.
And Barnes on the pick, sails the other way, and he slams another one down. We're tied at 31. The two clubs have now combined for 44 shot attempts, 2:50 to go in the first quarter. And an offensive foul called on an illegal screen set in there by Ronny Turiaf. So it gives it back to the Phoenix Suns.
I'm kind of smiling because, we're seeing very little physical contact here. And for us to get an offensive foul, all right, it's kind of interesting. Never mind defensive contact.
Three-ring circus. Here you have the stories right now in the West. You've got the Lakers who won today ahead of San Antonio, Houston, and Denver as it stands right now. And New Orleans in there at number 5 with Portland number 6, the Jazz number 7. Dallas lost today, and the Suns 4 back in the loss column right now.
Well, when you're dealing with the 3rd place to the 8th place, you're dealing 24 losses to 27. So it's just a log jam. It can change daily.
Lewis Robinson was in the cylinder. Basket won't count. Barbosa on the way to the rim.
Well, anyone tonight that settles for a jump shot because he either through fatigue or he does not want body contact, you got to take the guy out because you just take the ball to the basket. There's been very few foul shots called here, and you're not getting to the line mainly because of the fact the defenses are not rotating. They're saying, go, take the layup because we want to shoot quickly at the other end of the floor.
Corey Maggette now in the lineup for the Warriors. Shaq gets a breather for the Suns. Maggette lights out from 3. He's hit 27 of his last 50. 54%, averaging just under 20 points, 6 rebounds, having a terrific year as the 6th man. Jared Dudley denies the pass to Maggette. Here comes Barnes the other way. This time Robinson had the ball outside the cylinder and redirects it up and in.
I'll tell you, this guy is Mr. Energy. There's no doubt about it. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that he'd be playing ahead of Lopez? All right, even coming out of exhibition, the young guy is all over the place.
Crawford strikes. Richardson drives right back up and in and is fouled. So Richardson, not 2 seconds later, scores, coming right back. Take that, he says.
You remember Loyola and Marymount when they were scoring over 100 a game in the college, right? And they were saying we're scoring in 4 seconds. Well, here we're getting less than 4 seconds, right? Please don't get in front of a guy or keep the ball in front of you. The main thing today is get out of the way and let the guy score so we can get it in and score at the other end. No relaxing here tonight. We said at the beginning transition defense would be the number. Well, forget about transition defense. What we're having is a layup drill.
62% for the Suns, 62% for the Warriors. They have both attempted 24 shots. Jackson feeds outside of Maggette. Robinson sails in. That's his third year in the NBA this year from UNLV. And he's got a lot of moxie, feeds ahead to Barnes, who threads his way up into the lane and lays it in.
Well, Barnes is an energy guy, and we all know that if you're going to get out on the break, he can finish, and he'll attack anyone against the good defensive teams as well as the poorest defenses.
Jackson on the way to the rim. He is fouled in the act, and so Steven Jackson, who's only attempted 3 shots in 11 minutes, but right now is content to be a man that just conveys to the other hot hands. And of course, Monte Ellis opened this thing up, hitting 4 of his first 4.
Well, I like what he's doing. You know, he's being the facilitator, the guy who's getting the ball to everybody, and then also the fact that he is forgetting about his offensive flow.
NBA League Pass broadband. Watch up to 3 live games at once on your computer. Half season, half price package now available. For more information, log on to NBA.com. Steven Jackson, right out of high school, Oak Hill Academy in Virginia. Now in his 9th campaign in the NBA. A minute left in the quarter. And as we predicted, a lot of numbers up on the board. Jackson overplays and steals, and here come the Warriors.
Now he can do that. He's an excellent defender, and he can defend 4 positions. The only place that he get overmatched is at the center.
Randolph nearly upended, turns it over, and Jared Dudley heads the other way.
Yeah, Dudley's getting good minutes, and he's making it happen. They like him to be more consistent.
Richardson, 13 to shoot. Suns snapped a 6-game losing streak with a win last night at home against the Thunder. Amundson's given him a boost off the bench with that bucket.
Well, he's been a major surprise throughout the league. Now, maybe the Phoenix Suns people knew that he was going to make this type of contribution. But he's an energy guy. He's a rebounder. He can score the ball. So if you fall asleep and double team off of him, he will make you pay the price.
7 to shoot. 10 seconds left in the quarter. 3-second differential. Jackson slides in, juggles it away. Amundsen looks at the clock ahead of Richardson. Will he spin 360? Nope. He'll sail right to the rim and jam it. Closing it from behind was Randolph.
Now Randolph was trying for the block, but that's the way to send it down. Dunk it with power.
And the first quarter comes to a close as we would expect. Big numbers on the board when the Suns and the Warriors get together. It's the Suns 42 and the Warriors 36.
Now just keep an eye on this. This is just a guy saying, I know you're coming to block it. You're not going to get this one.
Both teams are getting some easy baskets. One of us got a guard somewhere along the line. We just got they had too many easy shots. We can live with the jump shots, but got to take some of the points in the paint away.
What does this do for Shaquille O'Neal and his effectiveness in this game when you're playing at this kind of pace?
Oh, I think he's been fine. You know, we've been able to throw the ball in. He's gotten some easy baskets for us. You know, there's going to be dead ball situations where we have to run half-court stuff, so he'll be fine in it.
You talked about individual matchups before the game. Monte Ellis got off early.
Well, he's just, I don't know, there's something about him seeing us. He always play well against us and shoot the ball well, but, you know, we seem to be pretty good offensively. We just, once again, we have to come up with some stops somewhere along the line.
Thanks, Al.
All right.
Well, Monte Ellis did indeed have a heck of a first quarter play. It's 6 of 8, and he led the Warriors with a dozen, Ubi.
Yeah, I like what he's showing here tonight, and he's not bashful. Anytime that he's out there, even if it's a 1-against-3, and he's down inside your circle, you're in trouble because he's going to score the ball.
Goran Dragic in the lineup, 6'4" rookie guard. Ball detached from Phoenix. 3-on-1. Maggette finishes from Jackson.
I like the unselfishness. Jackson, that was his 7th assist of the game. He's looking for everyone, and he's making everyone feel good within their job description.
Oh, Ellis gets up to block Barbosa at the cup. And a foul called. This will work against the Suns on Amundsen trying to get it back.
Now you can see the offense here in the first quarter, okay? We have 78 points. We have field goal percentage at 61. We have 21 assists. Everyone's going for their season high in this game.
Maggette will pick, and Ellis comes off that screen. Turioff answers the bell in the middle for the Warriors. got the start tonight, his 12th start of the year. Andres Biedrins, who's having an outstanding individual year.
Nice.
He's out with a sprained ankle. Amundsen scores the other way. Louis Amundsen just runs rim to rim and creates havoc.
Well, right on the fast break game, that was their 24th point on fast breaks. That's usually for a game. They have a plus 14 in that category. Look
Nice
out.
save by Barbosa. Ahead to Dragic. All the way to the rim.
That's what we keep saying. Just keep attacking the rim. You got 26 points in the open floor right now. And, you know, that's a staggering stat when you consider the fact that transition going in, you knew it's going to be a high-scoring game. You know the pressure is on you to get back, and that is the two guards and the small forward. It's Monte Ellis. Now, just remember now, he's missed 50 of the 65 games coming into tonight. Now, we know that he can finish in the open floor. He's explosive. He can stop on a dime and hit the mid-range jump shot. Just go back a year ago. In the second half of the season, he averaged 23 points a game and shot over 55%. Right now, he's struggling with his shot. But you can see tonight the points are there, the field goal percentage, and then also the minutes. But we say now, once he gets his leg, you can't miss 50 out of 65 games and expect to be in great shape. What we know is from day to day, game to game, week to week, from now to the end of the season, he's going to be a handful. But the big question is do you want your point guard to be this major scorer and then not a creator, because he only averages 4 assists a game?
And Nelly said he could do that if he had other people on the squad that were willing passers as well.
Yeah, well, the old story, Kevin, passing becomes contagious, you know, and with the really good teams that give you all of those assists every night, the 25 to 27, then you know that if you don't pass the ball to an open guy, then all of a sudden you're going to get criticized in the locker room and in the huddles.
Jackson clicks again with Turioff. Those two play well together in the two-man play. So the Suns lead of 10 trimmed to 2, and the Suns bench has played very well. They've given him a boost. Most notably Amundsen, as Barbosa steps back and he dusts off the jumper.
Well, the big thing for the Phoenix is, can you keep up this pace? We know that in this building, Golden State can keep up the pace. They have young legs, and they're going to play. They're going to shoot within one pass, and if they go 2 passes, that might be 1 too many.
Forced a pass inside that time, leading to a run out and a Barbosa bucket, and maybe more as he is fouled in the act.
Well, I like the mentality. I like the mentality that Phoenix has come to this game with. They know it's a big game. They're 4 games behind now. Dallas, after Dallas loses this afternoon in L.A. And they are out here tonight. They're warming up in the lines. There was a lot of chatter, a lot of clapping. You can see that they know this is a big game. Now, the big question, can they continue this for the 48 minutes?
Well, they had to come from 13 back at home last night to a Thunder club that's tough to play in the second half of the season, but the Suns able to win that game and snap a 6-game losing streak. Ellis the other way. Look at the extension to the rim as he just sidesteps Hill to lay it up and in.
Now, this guy's got it. He's got the athleticism. He's got the size. He's got the quickness. And he can finish. That's the big thing. He finishes, and he finishes with a high percentage.
Suns turn it over. Warriors quickly dispatch it. Jackson, nice handoff. McGetty beneath the rim, wriggles and lays it in.
Stephen Jackson looks like one of the best assist guys that we have in the league right now.
Well, right now he's got 9 assists.
Yeah, I know.
That put him, what, 3rd in the league?
Well, he's making the movement, and you always love it when guys find other people.
Grant Hill having a resurgence this year. He's in a free agent year, working one-on-one on Jackson. Nice right by Jackson and lays it in. Boy, Grant Hill, when he was right, when he had his health in those days at Detroit, had as quick a first step as there was in the league.
Well, you're right about that. And also, first-team All-NBA and an All-NBA selection for a second or third team every year. And we're talking about a guy who's getting you 25 points a game.
Hill, nice look down the floor. Barbosa scores, and Jackson got him in the act. And so Leandro will head to the line again. 4 minutes into this second quarter. And the Suns have put 56 on the board. They lead by 8.
Well, when you're watching this game, you got a couple of guys here who are a blur. And that is Ellis at the one end and Barbosa at the other. Because when you talk about the quickest guys with the dribble from the top of the circle at one end to the top of the circle at the other, these guys are going to be mentioned in there with whoever else. And we know that guy, what's his 23, that kid, that guy in Cleveland is going to be in there.
Barbosa, the Brazilian blur, now in his 6th year, can make it a 13-point spread, and he does. So the Suns take their largest lead with 4 minutes into the second quarter, and a technical foul called near the Warrior bench. This will be on Steven Jackson. He's been known to let the officials know what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here right now. Steven's got to be careful. They need him in this game if they're going to get the job done. And we also know that he's one of the top guys, 1, 2, 3, in getting technical fouls.
And so Barbosa at the line. Steven Jackson, very passionate player, and that's what has made him such a fine offensive performer. 16th technical this season. Got to watch himself because he'll cost himself a game suspension. 19 to shoot now for Jackson. Dragic knifes in, leans, and is fouled by Dragic.
That time, Dragic honestly feels that he had position. Yeah, I know your hands are up in the air, except you got the contact, from the waist down. And I like what Steven Jackson is doing. Anytime that Nash or someone small picks him up, he immediately turns his back, backs you down, and then does some type of a spin move.
Yeah, look at Steven Jackson since February 1st. It's been really amazing the kind of company he has kept with Wade, Bryant, James, and then Jackson at 26.5 since February the 1st.
And we also want to bring out the assists, because 6.5 assists for a small forward is a staggering stat.
Grant Hill out beyond the three-point arc. Barbosa knifes in, protects the ball with the body. Great pass to Amundsen. Brandon Wright, 6'10", long and lanky. The rebound, and Ellis will pull up. Good rip by Morrow. Ellis knocked down and a blocking foul called inside and a collision as Barbosa goes down.
I like the flexibility there by Amundsen. Not only was he on the other side, just watch as he comes in here now. He comes right down in and he blocks that shot. That was not his man. His man was still out on the opposite side of the lane, and he was able to recover and get down in there and help a teammate.
Ellis out there joined now by Anthony Morrow, 6'5" guard out of Georgia Tech. Rookie who was undrafted, showed up in the summer league. Nelly said, I didn't know who the guy was, but I liked him after I saw him play.
Well, I had a chance to watch him at Georgia Tech for 4 years. I thought he did a great job. He came in as a three-point shooter, and he left as one of the top scorers for the team during that period of time.
Monte Ellis, of course, fell off a motor scooter this summer. It was rather cryptic in the explanation initially to the organization, which got him in a bit of hot water. Then had the surgery on the left ankle that was nearly destroyed on August the 27th. He was then suspended for the 30 games.
Correct.
Cost him a lot of money, about $3 million worth. So that's taken a little bit of, shall we say, rehabilitating the relationship, if you will, with the front office, with the coach, regaining their respect and their trust. Here's Barbosa the other way.
Well, they get back on that. He missed 43 games during that period of time. Then once he came back, they said he worked extremely hard in the off to get back in and get back in shape. But then when he came back here and they started playing again, he didn't like his minutes, etc. and so forth, and then became a hassle with the head coach, Don Nelson. So they gave him 2 weeks off to regroup here, and all of a sudden this is 50 games, a total of 50 games. So now let's see what you're going to do from now to the end of the season, because if you're going to be our point guard and our team leader, come on, you got to be one of the best workers here. You got to be unselfish, because we know you can score the ball.
And he certainly did that against Dallas in their last outing. 29 points, 11 rebounds, and the best game he has had as an individual this year. And oh, by the way, they won the game. Here's Shaq with a rebound. Shaq back in, leading the Phoenix Suns to a lead of 11, and Nash pulls up on a three and gets nothing but cotton.
Well, Steve Nash, always one of the top three-point shooters in the league, shooting it at 43%. And it's interesting, he shoots it at such a high percentage, but he only takes 3 a game. He's never going to force the issue. If you give it to him, fine. If the shot clock is down, fine. He'll then take it and shoot the high percentage.
Suns shooting 64% limiting the Warriors, if you call it that, to 54%. Alvin Gentry told us at the end of the first quarter, defensively, we've got to get more stops, and they have done that. And then, offensively, they've gone to Shaq in the paint.
Well, you got to go to Shaq because he's just overpowering everybody here. In the open floor, Nash is going to hurt you in the transition game. You must get to him.
And, of course, ESPN is your NBA destination Wednesday night. First at 7 Eastern, Dwayne Wade on fire leads the Heat into Boston, where they take on Paul Pierce and the Celtics. Then at 9:30 Eastern, the Pistons will meet the Houston Rockets. The NBA on ESPN and also ESPN360.com on Wednesday. Along with UB Brown, Kevin Calabro on hand. This is Corey Maggette. Spent 1 year at Duke. Drafted by the Seattle Sonics and then was traded that same summer over to Orlando. Corey Maggette, now in his 10th year, having a very good year, just shy of 20 points per ball game, and he has put the Warriors now to within a dozen. Again, the Suns go to Shaq. Barnes cuts off the post, reverses it up, but is fouled on the scoop and will shoot two.
Now, he had no prayer making that shot, okay? I mean, he was even surprised that they fouled him, okay? Because he went under there, and he was looking straight at the bench on the other side. He just threw it up over his head, and he gets bailed out by going to the line. I want to emphasize the Corey Maggette thing. He's second to Jason Terry of Dallas with points off the bench. And when you say 19.7 points a game, that's a ton of points. But he gets to the foul line 7 times a game. And when you get there that many times and you shoot 82%, I don't care whether you're a starter coming off the bench, you're going to have a good scoring average.
Barnes rattles in the second. And Maggette has started 19 games for the Warriors this year as well. But Don Nelson said he went to him man-to-man and said, hey, I need you to come off the bench. And he said, sure enough, I'll get it done. Kalena Azubuike in the lineup. He's a good shooter. Watch him, 10 to shoot. Here's Anthony Morrow, 6'5", the step back. 54% shooting for the Warriors at home, 64% for the Suns on the road. On the second of a back-to-back, Nash with the three in and out. Ellis on the high screen from Turioff. Beautifully done. He's got such great extension on his jump shot. Technically, that's right out of the textbook, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this. See, I love the fact that Nash realizes, hey, we're going into you, big fella. Just get down in the painted area on the defensive circle, and I'm going to hit you every time. Just pin your man. The ball will be there.
Shaq has 13 in the early going. Ellis again off the high screen. This time Turioff rolls, juggles, got off the shot. Richardson with O'Neal. And Shaq had it taken away. Dislodged Morrow the other way with a pull-up.
Well, that was a good 3-on-2. Good deflection at the one end, getting the ball out, and then the 3-on-2 break.
Lando Tucker out of Wisconsin, being inside to Shaquille O'Neal and a foul call.
I'm going to give you a crazy stat in this game. We said transition defense would be big. The Phoenix Suns have scored 36 points on the break. The Warriors 14. So they have an advantage here of 22 points in the transition game. Now, if you're watching the game, you really don't think there's that much of a difference between the two teams, but there is, because Phoenix are doing a great job hitting Shaq in the transition on the move.
And they've forced 8 turnovers and have scored 14 points off turnovers. The Suns, Yubi, as you know, rank quite high in points in the paint. Shaquille O'Neal and their dribble penetration lead to a lot of points in the paint. Shaq hitting the second after missing the first. For the record, shooting 62% from the line coming into this game.
Yeah, well, tonight, he's making 1 out of 2 every time he goes there. But the big thing right now is just keep working, big fella, because the people understand they've got to go to you.
Jamal Crawford back in the lineup. Again, Turioff slips the screen, had it jabbed away. There's Azubuike to jam it with 2 hands. I got a crazy stat for you in a moment. Here's Barnes. He goes up and is fouled in the act. last 11 meetings between these two clubs, they have averaged 230 points. So this is no secret here.
No.
You know these teams are going up and down. With this mentality right here, the professor, Don Nelson, closing in on Lenny Wilkens, the great Lenny Wilkens, for #1 all-time in wins, turning the Warriors loose. And the Phoenix Suns with Alvin Gentry doing likewise, getting back to their true nature.
Well, Barnes a very active player. You know that he can shoot the three and shoot it at a good percentage for you. But the main thing is when the ball goes in the Shaq, you've got to pay attention to Barnes and stay with him, because he moves extremely well without the ball, and Shaq will always give it up.
Matt Barnes, who was, of course, part of that Warrior team a couple of years ago, that went up and down with that wild play. He was outstanding in the playoffs against Dallas. Ball for three. Maggette, the recovery, right back up, and he knew Shaq was there. He found the arms, drew the foul. That's what Ubi was talking about. Here's Maggette getting himself, manufacturing an opportunity to go to the line and a chance to score.
Well, he's got a strong body. You know, he came into the league with a strong body. He's an outstanding athlete in the open floor. Anytime you hit him on the wing, he could always take you off the dribble. He didn't even need a screen, and he could get to the basket. Now, if he could get to the basket, get a high percentage shot, or you would foul him and put him on the line. So ever since he came into this league, he can create for himself. But now the key is as you're building a team, do you start a guy like this, or do you bring him off the bench? Well, Don Nelson talked to him about being the sixth man, coming in, being a man who's take our second unit and get instant points for us, and he accepted his role.
Nash comes up the floor with Barnes, Richardson, O'Neal, and Tucker. The backdoor off. Shaq still got some lift. Oh, the Diesel goes up and delivers with a two-hand slam right down the highway.
And that was a great back screen by Steve Nash. Steve Nash passed the ball off, went down into the painted area, came back up and back screened Shaq's man for that lob.
And Maggette again draws Tucker into him for the foul. Maggette will shoot two when we come back. 2:58 left in the half. Look at Shaq raise for the lob. That was beautifully thrown in there.
Well, a good pass, a great move, but also a terrific back screen by Steve Nash. The pass was right on the money, and the big fella, anytime that you pass the ball to Shaq like this, he's going to keep working at both ends of the floor.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to. If the franchise has a vision and a strategy to get back where we were, the last 4 years, I'd love to be a part of it. It's a great city, a great franchise, and I've got some roots built there, and it's a great situation for me. But if that's not the case and I had to go somewhere else, I know there's a lot of attractive suitors and opportunities out there as well, and I'll definitely look deeply into those if the Suns decide to go in a new direction.
And Steve Nash in the last 5 regular seasons in Phoenix under Mike D'Antoni. You can see the minutes are about the same, points very nearly the same, 51% shooting. And Mike D'Antoni was here. The assists obviously higher under Mike D'Antoni. 9.7 this year,
Yeah, but that's because of the pace that they played at. And also, before Shaq, there was only one pivot guy to worry about, because Marion, who was playing power forward, basically was a perimeter player. So consequently, they had more opportunities. We also know that they take 8 less three-point shots than they did a year ago. So naturally, that's also involves Nash, not only in assists, but also points. So there's a reason for all of this. But I liked his answer. I thought that was a straightforward answer, right to the point. What is management going to do with this team at the end of the year? And we have no idea what's going to happen. And also, what about Stoudemire? Is he going to be able to come back and play at 100%?
He has a detached retina in the right eye, and he is forbidden from running or doing any kind of exercise that may jar the eye or the body. Is on the bike and is in the pool. He will not play even if the Suns make the playoffs. They have ruled that completely out. Here's Nash to O'Neal, who has 1 year left on his contract. He's the 5th highest paid player in the league as it stands now. And Turiaf gets up slowly after the collision with the Diesel. Meantime, Crawford the other way. Maggette for 3. 2 minutes left in the half. The Suns have put 72 points on the board. Turiaf with the rebound. Up and down. 60% shooting for the Suns, 51% for the Warriors. And Morrow drills a three in transition. The rook from Georgia Tech.
Well, during the season here, he's been in the top 5 field goal percentage in threes. Now, remember we told you, they're not out of this. Golden State's not out of this. Right? They're only down 8. And even if they're down 15 going into the second half, they are not out of this game because they can keep running up and down like this. They do it every night.
Well, we saw that today in the Dallas-Los Angeles game. The Lakers were up, 15 in the third quarter. Dallas came back to actually take a 5-point lead in the fourth. Lakers ended up winning the game. Azubuike into the lane. Careens into O'Neal on a foul.
Now, see, I'm Turieff that time. I ran a perfect backdoor without the ball. I was wide open. Give me the pass.
Coming up on the Toyota halftime show with Kevin Negandhi and Jalen Rose, Kobe, LeBron, and Wade highlights. And Jalen's Final Four MVP bracket. That should be interesting. And the Jazz visit the Magic Kingdom. Utah closing out their road trip. Utah were hot. They had won 12 in a row. Went out and won the first 2 on the trip. And didn't go so well from that point on. Jamario Davidson is in the lineup. Second-year pro out of Alabama. 36 picks, second round. Part of the Jason Richardson deal, ironically, in which Richardson was sent to Charlotte for the rights to Brandon Wright. And Richardson, we're sending up down here in Phoenix. 8-point lead for the Suns. Dash in control. Davidson, a shot blocker, closes out. Maggette with a rebound. Closing in on a minute left. Davidson.
Nice. I'm happy for the young guy. When you think about it, Azubuike, Watson, and Davidson, Golden State has 3 guys who played in the D League, and they understand how great it is to be in the NBA, and they appreciate every minute. So he's out here right now. He's giving Shaq about 200 pounds. Okay. God forbid there should be a collision with Davidson and Shaq here.
Shield your eyes. Here's Maggette.
That'll be a travel, either that or a call. Right, late call. Late
crashed
call.
into Barnes, spun around, bunny hopped, and Maggette goes back to the line. Well, the Warriors trying to close in here as the first half has 45 seconds left. Some of our leading scorers, Shaq having a terrific night. 18 points, Barnes 14, Richardson 13. Monte Ellis 18, Maggette has 10.
In the short period of time that Maggette has been out there, it's just amazing how many times he gets to the line. Now this will be his 5th and 6th foul shot attempts, and he creates a collision. He has that ability that he can suck you into a move, and then all of a sudden he'll bounce off of you, and he gets the offensive call. I thought that's what just happened on that last play. He had absolutely no place to go. He was behind the backboard.
Warriors is second in the league in free throws attempted per ball game at 29, due in large part to Maggette. Hits the second. 4-point lead for the Suns. So the Warriors have come from 14 back. Crowd chanting, is that defense I'm hearing, Ubi? And they get a stop. Azubuike the other way.
Well, you got a 5-man break. Nice. Now that was just a great drive and a terrific move by Azubuike. He can finish in the open floor. Golden State has a ton of these guys. They attack the rim.
74-72. Suns by a deuce, looking to add on here. 3-second differential. Nash head of the key, 4 to shoot. Fires over Davidson, a 3, dancing off.
Oh, you got time here. Got time.
The clock from midcourt, lets it sail. Would have counted had it gone just wide of the rim. Way things are going. I expected that to fall, but at the end of the half, the Warriors come from 14 back just like that to go within 2, 74-72.
And the people are loving it. I mean, they're absolutely loving it, giving him a great ovation.
Toyota halftime show coming up with Kevin Negandhi and Jalen Rose, Kobe, LeBron, and Wade highlights. Jalen's first Final Four MVP bracket, and the Jazz visit the Magic Kingdom. Beautiful night here in the Bay Area. Up and down they go. If you love seeing the ball go through the hole, you're going to love the second half of this one. 74-72. Suns by 2 halfway through. This ball game. Let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by the movie The Fast and the Furious 4. 59% shooting for the Suns, 53% for the Warriors. 19-17 assist advantage for the Suns. Look at the points in the paint. 48 for the Suns, who are #1 in that category in the NBA. The Warriors with 30 fast break points, 38-23 advantage, 19 layups and dunks. And back here courtside, along with Hubie Brown, Kevin Calabro on hand. Shaquille O'Neal very much a part of the mix. We asked Alvin Gentry at the end of the first quarter if Shaq could still be a problem for the Warriors with his pace. Well, the answer, a resounding yes.
Well, you love the fact that he has the 18 points. People say, yeah, but he only has 1 rebound. Well, there are very few rebounds in this game. Keep an eye on Shaq as he pins off of Turiaf. He's showing you his upper body strength. Once down inside, I like the fact that he gets the bounce here with a nice soft shot. But watch see, that's where he should post up in every transition, right at the defensive circle. You front him in the low post, they throw the lob pass. Now, O'Neal, Barnes, and Richardson, look at the points. Well, how about the fact that they're 18 for 26? And then Barnes also has 7 assists. You just love the production.
And then, of course, the Golden State Warriors got a tremendous start for Monte Ellis, who had his first 4 shots. He has 18 to lead the way. Who's going to make plays if your point guard's scoring?
Right. Well, Stephen Jackson's given us a beautiful game. It's an all-around because he's passed up a lot of shot attempts. Now, he only has taken 4 shots, but just watch the passing. See, you keep moving. If they're going to double-team you off the dribble, hey, I'll find you. Just keep moving. Just don't stand still. I'm a very unselfish guy. Now, I have 9 assists during this. How about this one? Guy moving behind the backboard, out in for a layup. Now, the points, all right, 8 points, but I only have taken 4 shots. The assists are there, the rebounds. And remember, this is a guy who had a triple-double the last time that they played there.
Grant Hill gets things started with a bucket 15 seconds into the third. The 146 points scored in the first half equals the most points in the first half in the NBA this season. Wouldn't you know, the Warriors were involved in the other game.
Well,
at New York on November 29th, 82-64 halfway through in New York. Azubuike elevates and hits. Azubuike starting this third quarter for the Warriors with Jamal Crawford, Ronnie Turiaf, Stephen Jackson, and Monte Ellis.
Now, why is that a surprise? Well, he only played 7 minutes in the first half. Now, Don must be happy with his production during that period of time. He gave you a quick 6 points.
Brandon Wright had started for the Warriors. Barnes in the paint, blocked by Azubuike.
Well, I think Don is doing this from a defensive standpoint. He wants somebody on Barnes because not only does Barnes have the 14 points, but he's got the 7 assists. So let's change up here right now and get a better defender on him.
Warriors average better than 18,000 per ball game, 18,889, and they have folks all the way up to the rafters here on a Sunday night in the Bay Area. Great night for hoops. The Warriors winners of 23 this year, won 41 at this time last year, and of course won 48 total and made that push toward the end for the playoffs. Building up some high expectations for the fans.
Now, a lot of pressure on Phoenix here. They've got to get these easy baskets that they had in the first half.
Barnes missed the runner. There's a rebound for O'Neal and a putback.
That's only their 7th offensive board, but we realize that both teams are shooting over 53%. So when you have that kind of stat, naturally there's so very few offensive boards to gather.
Shaq with 20. O'Neal earlier this week was talking to Phoenix writers. He said Alvin Gentry is the best man for this job. Meaning Alvin Gentry, the coach who took over when Terry Porter was fired.
All I know is this team is 7-8 since Gentry has taken over. They're 6-3 at home, but they're only 1-5 on the road, and that's got to change if he's going to get the job next year. They got to finish strong here.
4 back in the loss column behind Dallas for the last playoff spot in the West. Barnes tees up a 3. Azubuike with a rebound. This is Ellis. Nice find. Turiaf roundhouses one to the cup.
Now, I like that play. Now, we talked about Ellis scoring 18 points in the first half. He's your point guard and your leading man. He had 0 assists. That was his first assist. It's nice to see him drive, accept the double team, not force the shot, give it up to the free man.
Nash leading the Suns, 3rd best scoring team in the NBA. Richardson, dead-eye from 3.
Now, he's on fire tonight from behind the line. He's 3 for 3 in 3-point attempts.
Warriors led by Monte Ellis are second in the league in scoring. So is it any wonder you'd have the Suns leading here 81-78. Turioff flashes in the lane, ripped away by Hill. Here's Nash, lead pass to Barnes. Sneaks by Jackson and lays it in.
Now that was a 2-3 zone that time at Phoenix at the end. Did a nice job. They're falling right back now once again into the zone. And let's see what Golden State. Number one, will they continue to shoot quick, or will they move the basketball and then have seconds run off the clock? Will that happen?
Defensive 3-second whistle on the Phoenix Suns, who did drop into the zone, as Yubi mentioned, and so this will cost them a possession and a free throw attempt here to Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, you still cannot stand in the lane and guard no one. You have to be able to be within arm's reach of a offensive player.
Crawford sinks the free throw.
Big thing right now, you drop into the zone. You want to change the tempo of the game. That's why you do it. You also want to be able to get back so you can get into the zone. The other factor is you can fast break better out of the zone than out of man-to-man. A lot of coaches believe that.
And conversely, on the offensive end, Yubi, you've got a man running the end line. That was Azubuike, who will get a look, although defended. Richardson with a rebound. Nash lobs to Shaq. He had locked up and sealed Turioff, but is dislodged, shall we say, by Turioff. The fans didn't think so.
Well, the fans are upset because it was a late whistle. Shaq, you're going to see it right now. So you front Shaq, they'll throw the lob. Now watch what happens. He misses the shot, okay? Then, as he goes out of the picture, then the whistle came. That's why the people are upset.
I think it's a good call, but I think it's on the wrong man. I thought Azubuike clipped him on the side of the head inadvertently, going for the ball, although Turioff is nailed with the foul. That's his third.
I'm glad we emphasized the fact that Shaq is up shooting 62% this year from his career of 53. Unfortunately, tonight he's 2 for 5. He's got to knock this one in. Oops.
Shaq with 20. Jackson the rebound. Azubuike sails in. The strength and the explosion of this young fella as he sneaks between two defenders, fouled. Azubuike will head to the line.
He is explosive. There's no doubt about it. And he blew right by us right here and then made a change of direction off the dribble, and it was quick.
Azubuike 6'5" out of Kentucky, now in his third year, giving him good strength off the bench or as a starter, starting here in his third. NBA calendar coming up on Tuesday. NBA TV will feature Orlando at Cleveland to take on LeBron and the Cavs. TNT on Thursday. The Blazers are in Cleveland, and the Warriors are in Los Angeles to meet the Lakers. And then Sunday on ABC, the Miami Heat at Detroit to take on the Pistons. Coverage beginning at 12:30 Eastern.
Now, Azubuike has started 35 games during the season, so it isn't new for him to be playing with the Shooter.
Richardson backs up and fires another three, dancing off into the hands of Stephen Jackson. Ellis has a step advantage on Richardson, who gambled, and Ellis pulls up short of O'Neal and knocks down the jump shot. That, I think, is the most improvement that Ellis has made in his offensive game, Yubi. The ability to pull up just short of the defense in the paint, get off that little mid-range jump shot. Early in his career, he had a tendency to go in and kind of create contact and therefore turn the ball over a little.
Well, he can stop on a dime, and there's nothing you can do about it because at 6'3", he just explodes in the air. You know, he has great jumping ability, and then he just sends up such a nice, soft shot in the mid-range game. And you'd like to see more high school players and college players working on that before they come into this league or attempt to make this league. Go get back and show us that you can have a solid 10 to 15-foot game off the dribble. Stop on a dime.
Significance of this game is just this. If you look at the win-loss record of the Dallas Mavericks, Phoenix Suns, they have a 4-game difference in the loss column. Dallas losing tonight, and the Phoenix Suns trying to close in on that playoff spot.
Yeah, and you know, let's face it, after tonight there's 15 games left, so it isn't like it can't happen. It can happen for you. But right now you're going to have to start defending these guys because they're going through the zone. The zone, you're not supposed to be able to do that to the zone from outside, dribble 20 feet and score.
Ellis with 24, you'll be on red-hot shooting, 11 of 14, and Richardson comes back and he knocks down a triple.
Now he's had a great night shooting the three.
Richardson 7 of 11 overall from the field. Jackson has not scored the basketball. He's only attempted 5 shots, but he does have the 9 assists. Jack in deep. Davidson has no chance. None. 0. He weighs 230.
Every time that they come down the floor and Shaq's on the court and you have no transition, you get into your half court, you throw the ball in there. This young, I feel sorry for Dave. There's nothing he can do about this.
Jackson goes up, had it stripped, got it back, laid it in.
Now, what don't I like? We have 6:25 on the clock.
Well, the fact that there's not a lot of defense being played.
We're looking at here, we're seeing the guys, from Phoenix, they are walking slowly back. All of a sudden now they've lost that zip. And you don't want to go to the bench here because in the first half, Golden State bench 29-18. Big difference.
Suns played last night at home, had to come from 13 back to finally arrest the Oklahoma City Thunder for the win, snapping a 6-game losing streak. Richardson the other way, lays it up and in, and now Richardson seems to be picking up the scoring mantle for the Suns. He has 23 on the night.
They're the kind of situations you have to go for the shot block. I don't understand it. You're just letting guys score, and that was a 1 against 3.
Nash intercepts. Richardson with 10 in the quarter, up and under two-hand slam, making a dozen in the quarter with 5.5 left here in the third. And the Suns have rolled out to the 9-point lead at 96-87 and a timeout here in Oakland.
Now just keep an eye on Shaq here. Right now, you get on his back, it's all over here tonight. They just come right with that little jump hook. And at the other end, Richardson's going to come down and do a little turnaround. And then say, where is LeBron James when I needed him? Well, we have 5.
Possible?
Yeah, we have 5 teams going for that 8th spot in the East. All right, and they have either 37 or 38 losses. So it's possible. Now,
well, let's take a look at our EAS playoff push because it plays right into what we're talking about here. But over in the West, where the Phoenix Suns are on the outside looking in, it would be surprising not to see Nash and company in the playoffs. They've got a shot.
Well, after tonight's game, they have 8 home games and 7 road. They're 15-18 on the road right now. This is a major game for them. They have got to show from now to the end that they can beat the plus 500s. They only have a record of 14-23 against the plus 500 teams. That is a terrible stat for a team that's trying to make the playoffs.
Monte Ellis has it ripped out of his hands. Down goes Richardson. He pops up. Phoenix the other way. Footnote to that, the Phoenix Suns are 1-2 against Dallas this year. They'll play Dallas the 4th and final time on April the 5th at Dallas. And if you like what you're seeing tonight, Yubi, there probably will be more of it on April 15th when the Suns are at home to take on the Golden State Warriors to wrap up the regular season.
Well, the main thing right now is they've just got to go game by game. They can't be thinking 2-3 games out, mainly because their bench has been totally unproductive for them, especially on the road. Now, this is something which at the beginning of the season, I don't think that they honestly thought would happen. Well, you can't take Stoudemire out of your first unit and then put a guy like Barnes up in there without your bench suffering.
Well, the former Warriors have come home, if you will, and have done a number on Golden State. 26 for Richardson. And he's got 13 here in the quarter. He's hit 4 of 5 overall for the game from 3.
Well, they needed him to step up here. We all know that Shaq is having a great game. But Grant Hill only has 4 points, mainly because he has not been included.
Entry pass intended for Randolph, picked off, and Barbosa the other way to lay it in. The blur from Brazil.
Now, that's what you needed. That's what you needed right there. And I like the energy this group is coming with right now. Now, right, you have Barbosa playing in front of the zone with Richardson, and then you have Barnes in the back with Grant Hill, and then Amundsen at the center position.
But again, Jackson beats the first line of defense, but Grant Hill closes and rips it away again.
That's what you want. You want to close off, no layups, and if you do, put them down with a good hard foul. What a pass.
Tremendous pass by Richardson, who looked like he was going down, but off the left hand, the offhand, scoops it to Amundsen, who was ready and is fouled going to the rim.
Well, first of all, this guy Amundsen is very active. Now, how about this? He's falling down and he makes a perfect pass. Remember we said in a game like this, if your guy leaves to go double team, would you please create the passing lane? Just go to the basket, create the passing lane, and then if I'm unselfish, I'll get you the ball. Now, this is the Achilles heel from Munderson. He is a terrible foul shooter. All right, he shoots it at 47%, and it's a shame because he gets to the line a lot just with his sheer heart.
And the technique looked good there, and the stroke is true. Shaq rests on the bench as the Suns now open up a 14-point lead. 4:22 to go in the third. The 8th sellout of the year here at the Oracle Arena. 19,596 fans.
We've said it earlier, and you said it, Kevin. You brought it out. Over 18,600 every night here for a team that is just struggling, only won 23 games. That's a testimony to the people.
As Azubuike keeps it alive. I've always said it's one of the great basketball markets, NBA markets, that there is, due in large part to the great tradition and the legacy. Of course, the great Rick Barry playing here and winning the championship in '75. But they have had some very lean years here, and the fans, even during the bad years, and there have been more bad than good here, have been very supportive of this team.
Well, when Nelly left the Milwaukee Bucks and Jim Fitzgerald purchased the Golden State Warriors, and they went to that run and gun team. When we had Hardaway and Richmond.
Run TMC.
That's right. And Mullen. And they averaged between 22, 23, and 25. Mullen had 25 a game. They packed this building every single night. It was great. But then Nelson left, and all of a sudden they fell on hard times again. But now that he's back in the playoffs a year ago, and it's not great for the people.
Well, Stephen Jackson just blew his top, second technical of the game, and he's gone. That gives him 17 for the year, so not only is he out of this game, but pending review of the league, he'll have to sit out a game as well.
Now he's stunned. Tony Brothers is the one who hit him with the tee. Now he right now is going to Tony Brothers. Why? Well, we have no idea, because we all know that if this has been building up as this game is going on, only Tony Brothers and Stephen Jackson know this. Now, if you say the magic word, well, goodbye in a hurry, and it doesn't matter if you've been a Boy Scout here. If you had one earlier, you're leaving the building.
Barnes secures the rebound. Jackson thought he had tied him up. No, there didn't seem to be any undue contact. And maybe a word or two to Tony Brothers there. And
yeah, it's kind of interesting. And one thing you want to see is that you leave the court, and then the guys who replace you, you know that you've got to. Now, somebody out here has got to be a playmaker. Monte Ellis has got to show us now that he can distribute the basketball to these other people. We know that Maggette and Crawford and he himself can score the ball. And then you also have Azubuike and Morrow being the #1 3-point shooter in the league out there. But we need somebody to pass the ball.
And now the Suns, UB, on the other hand, need to take an opportunity here to score. They do as Barbosa lifts off, scoops, and is fouled, and will go to the line. So the Suns can build a real substantial lead here before that fourth quarter, making it even more difficult on that Warrior bench to come back.
Yeah, now just keep an eye on this. See, I'm going to the basket, and the reason, the biggest guy on the floor out there is Corey Maggette.
And now Don Nelson.
Oh, he's upset. You can see that.
Has got some heat, and he is on the boiler, and he has a few words for Tony Brothers. And now he's going to get his money's worth out there. He's going to get a little bit of Mike Callahan's ear.
Yeah, Nelly's really upset. He didn't like the play on the drive to the basket and score. He thought that his guy did not foul. Now what he's doing is he's excited naturally because of the Stephen Jackson, because we have no idea what went down on the technical, and then goodbye to Stephen Jackson.
And that will leave things to Keith Smart and Stephen Silas. Here's Barbosa at the line.
Nelly did a strategic thing here. When Stephen Jackson went out, he decided to go small. So his biggest guy out there right now, is Maggette. And you can see Nelly. Nelly is going all over Tony Brothers.
And Barbosa just down there scoring a lot right now. Between the technical foul shots, the lay-in, and now the personal foul heading to the line here at the moment.
No, Barbosa, he says, listen, I'm an 85% foul shooter, and some nights even better than that.
And he's saying all that in Portuguese.
That's
with
right.
3:43 left in the third. Suns 106, Warriors 87. It's getting a little hot in this building. 106-87, the Suns on top, 3:43 left in the third. Some of the familiar faces are gone. Stephen Jackson has been kicked out. Don Nelson's been kicked out. On your screen, that is Keith Smart on the right and Stephen Silas on the left. Silas in his 3rd year as an assistant with the Warriors, and Keith Smart in his 6th year on the bench with the Warriors. Tournament time this time of year. Everybody remembers Keith Smart, the winning jump shot for Indiana defeating Syracuse. Some of you Syracuse fans obviously back there.
Listen, that was a great game, and that was a big shot.
McGetty to bring it in with 18 to shoot now. 3:37 to play here in the 3rd. Big game for the Suns. 4 back in the Moscow behind Dallas. McGetty turns into the body of Robinson, dislodged right to Hill, and here comes Barnes. Up top, way up top. Richardson scraping the sky, redirects it through the cylinder.
Give a lot of credit there. That was a great pass, but a great call.
And then McGetty the other way. He steps over the body of Robinson to score. I should say that's Azubuike on the score.
Now, right now, if you're a referee, you got to grab hold of this game because you do not want it to get out of hand. You can see that the intensity level has picked up here dramatically.
20-point lead for the Suns. 2:59 to go in the 3rd. Barbosa, hard cut. Leaves it off to Grant Hill. 6 to shoot. Barbosa, the step back 3. Careens into the hands of Amundsen, who keeps it alive with the volley and then laid it in.
They're at the mercy of Amundsen due to the fact that there's nobody out there that big. Right? He's going to dominate down inside. Just tell him to stay around the basket and crash the glass. Now this play right here on this fast break, Richardson called for that. Foul line extended. He just pointed to the rim, and Barnes get a great pass because that pass came from almost the half court, Larry.
ESPN360.com on Wednesday. UB Brown, Kevin Calabro on hand, Oracle Arena here in Oakland, California. Big numbers. Phoenix 111, Golden State 89, 2:37 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Suns shooting 61% for the game, UB, while the Warriors are cooling off at 52%. And Keith Smart now is the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Don Nelson was banished just a moment ago. That in the wake of the 2nd technical foul on Stephen Jackson and his ejection from this game.
Well, Golden State plays in streaks. You know, they call it peaks and valley streaks, whatever you want to say. The main thing for them is they just got to get the Phoenix Suns into a half-court game here. Now, we have a small team once again. Amundsen is your center out there.
Barnes right between 2 defenders, startled, looking at one another, Crawford and McGetty.
Since they've gone small, they have not been able to stop any kind of screening away from the ball. You just cut down the middle of the court to score a layup.
And the Suns now packing in that zone defense. Azubuike roundhouses one up and in. Suns defense has responded to the dribble penetration of the Warriors. UB here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, the Warriors have just taken so many bad shots in this quarter, and then the fact that they could not get out in the open floor, cut away, you know, the game, and it just forced the Suns all of a sudden now to get out in the open floor and score big numbers for them to get this type of a lead.
That's impressive. The 2 veterans, Richardson and Grant Hill, go to the deck. You're telling me this isn't an important game? It sure is. They know it. They go to the deck to regain possession, leading to a Barbosa 3. That's impressive.
Well, they've done a great job with the hustle in this half now. And then also, the big thing, they've been making the threes at a high percentage in this game.
Amundsen hacks Morrow, and so Morrow will head to the line. Been a tough year for the Warriors with 39 different starting fives, 39 different combos. I mean, how do you come up with it? 15 different players have actually started for Don Nelson and company. And another note, they've had 3 undrafted rookies on this team. DeMarcus Nelson, who's no longer with the team, Bob Kurz, and Morrow, this man at the free throw line, that have played over 1,300 minutes combined. If you combine all the undrafted rookies in the league, they wouldn't total 1,300 minutes. It's been that kind of year for the Warriors.
Yeah, it has, and it's been very difficult. 2 out of 3 games, you have 2 starters out of the lineup. Now, that's difficult for anybody to handle. Then, when you look at this, they have 6 guys under 22 years of age. That's another major factor here. And then they've been leading many times. They've lost 13 games with 4 minutes on the clock where they've been ahead. That is a staggering stat.
Richardson, a step back, knocks it down. I would think the Warriors are going to be busy in the offseason wheeling and dealing, because as Don Nelson said, we've got a lot of wingmen, 1-2s, and 3s, but we need rebounding.
What you do is you play the players so that other people can see them in NBA action, and that's what they're doing from now to the end of the season. They're showing you their young people, and then whether it comes down to two-for-one trades, etc., that has to be. But we know the pressure is on here that they make an excellent draft choice. They've got to get a guy, especially a guy, Don was telling us, at that small forward position who can rebound, score, pass the basketball, so you can move Stephen Jackson back to that two-guard position.
And what becomes really intriguing is who is actually going to pull the trigger on those deals, because Chris Mullin's contract as general manager is up in June. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on, because yeah, they need to know who's going to make that decision with this ball club as Azubuike steps up. Tonight at 11 p.m., SportsCenter will air on ESPN News. SportsCenter also follows our game tonight on ESPN for more bracket analysis. The conjecture is, UB, that if Chris Mullin is not back with the Warriors, that it will be left to Larry Riley, who right now is his assistant.
Well, Larry Riley was with Don Nelson in Milwaukee, then here in Golden State. He's always been his right-hand man. Now, we know that he has moved up. When all of the controversy happened a few months ago, he moved up into the management area. Now, will all of this happen? Well, we can't read the minds of the people who own this team, and then also the president of the team, who seems to be extremely vocal in this situation.
And involved, yes. Here's Tucker now entering to Barnes. And he had a matchup down there that he just leaps over. He had McGetty and Azubuike around him. Barnes, an outstanding two-footed standstill jumper. 120-97 the count.
You remember when we just said, I made the point that we honestly thought that they were tired. Phoenix hit like a mark at about after 5 or 6 minutes of this quarter. But then they went back into the zone. They made some substitutions, and all of a sudden life came to this club. And now they are very stingy on defense, and they're scoring almost every opportunity at the other end.
In particular, Jason Richardson, who had a sensational third quarter of play, ended up with 31 points for periods 1, 2, and 3 in his return here to the Bay Area. And Barbosa has lent assistance as well, as the Suns roll to the fourth quarter on the road here at Golden State, leading 120-97.
That was just a great pass by Barnes, and a good call, an explosive thing by Don Nelson, because he read the situation of Stephen Jackson, didn't like it, and did not like the play previous call.
Look at Mr. Turiaf, who came over via free agency from the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers wanted to keep him in the worst way. He but simply couldn't do it. The numbers didn't work.
Right. He did. He made a major contribution for that run last year with the Lakers, because when he went in the game, he gave you a shot blocker, rebounder, and he could score the ball.
Crawford knocks down a 3 to begin the proceedings here in the fourth.
Well, I'd be surprised if they don't make a run. I know I'm wishing for television that they'll play some defense here for a few minutes. Oops.
Grant Hill, flashback with a right hand.
Now that was beautiful. Once again, the screen away from the lane, the cut to the middle, and the basket.
And then he tries to take the charge the other way. You just have to really appreciate and respect the effort of Grant Hill, 36 years old, 14 years in the league. Throws it down with a right hand, then sprints down the floor to get himself in position, attempting to take the charge from Azubuike. That's impressive.
Well, I'm just happy that he's playing every game. Now, this is the first time in his entire career that he's played the first 67 games. I just want, for people who just can't remember his game in Detroit, he was 5 times All-NBA, first, second, or third team. And then he was All-Star player 7 times. We're talking about a guy who could get you 25 to 30 against anyone at any time, regular season or playoff.
And, of course, national champion at Duke. Hill handling up top. Checked by McGetty, who was on a championship team himself in his freshman year at Duke. And we're going to call a walk. Callahan calls a walk on Grant Hill because it was deflected as he went up and apparently got it back in midair and came down with it. Take a look. 7 seasons with Orlando, 374 games, 2 seasons with the Suns. Games missed, just 12. Amazing. 374 games missed in Orlando. That's just heartbreaking, because, and it was to the Orlando organization, because
Right.
Obviously came on as a sign and trade, a free agent going down there to Orlando.
And they made a major commitment dollar-wise. But why? Because you're not only getting you're getting a great player, you're getting a great person. And then a person who could be your flag man in all of your, meetings with heavy donors. And then also, if he was to get some advertising, he could be the beacon for you because he's such a wonderful human being.
Here he is on the post up getting clobbered. And so Grant Hill will take it back to the line. Hill, knowing the significance of this game and knowing that a 20-point lead with 10:38 to go in the NBA, or Golden State especially, it's not sacred. It can go just like that in an instant. But the Warriors up against it as Steven Jackson's been kicked out of the game, that in the third quarter when he picked up his second technical. And they're playing without Andris Biedrins, who's out with a left ankle sprain. And Don Nelson has been kicked out of the game as well. Keith Smart takes over as the coach now of the Warriors.
I'm surprised. Right now they're going to bring Shaq back in this game. Now they're up 21. They want to give Shaq at least 5 to 7 more minutes here, but they want a cushion.
Maggette with the standstill pop knocks it down. But exchanging buckets obviously won't get it done for the Warriors. They need to get stops, and a bunch of them in a hurry. Barbosa off the screen of Dudley. Robin Gentry's got his veteran Hill out there with Barbosa and then 3 youngsters. Jared Dudley in his third year out of BC. Look at him rushing the rebound. Goes up and drew the foul.
Yeah, Dudley's a guy who is going to mix it up for you. When he gets in there, he's not afraid of body contact. He's a nice size, 6'7", 6'8". He can play in the corners for you, or he can even play in the post. He's the biggest guy out there right now, but now they brought in Shaq.
And the floor tilts.
Well, I want to see them to keep going back to Shaq because he's rewarded them with a very solid offensive game here tonight.
Yeah, Shaq with 22 on 10 of 12 shooting from the field, around the cylinder, jumping it down on the block, letting the Diesel go to work, including a very impressive alley-oop lob that he sent through emphatically. Dudley part of the deal that brought Richardson over from Charlotte in exchange for Raja Bell and Boris Diaw. They really hated to part with Boris Diaw because he literally can play 4 positions on the floor.
Well, when you gave up Diaw and Bell, you gave up 3-point shooters, 2 good defenders, and then in Diaw, a guy who created for you and was really a point forward. And also 2 guys who could get you big points in a big game.
10 to shoot for the Warriors. And Crawford trying to draw the foul, misses the 3. Dragic up the floor. Shaq out of the double team, looking to pass. Eyes as wide as saucers, finds the cutter Hill, and he's fouled by Maggette.
Well, right now, the double teams, the players are so small. All Shaq has to do is put the ball up in the air and turn, and then he can look right over the double team. So it's like it's not even there. And I like the fact that the cutter makes the move. Shaq will always reward you if you're open in the lane. He'll get you the basketball.
Hill will step up. He'll be a free agent following the year. This team is obviously at the crossroads when you consider Nash at 35 a free agent, Grant Hill at 36. Shaq's got another year left. Now in his 17th year in the league. In our interview that we recorded and played for you earlier, Steve Nash said he would prefer to end his career as a Phoenix Sun, but obviously it's a business and he's got to take a look at all the options.
Absolutely.
And listen, here's Ellis. Well, that one came off with a resounding thud.
I think the pressure is on. The key is Stoudemire. What is Stoudemire's health status going to be for next season? Now, if he's going to be 100%, well, then you could do a number of things. But if he is not 100%, you really got to be careful here on what you're doing.
And Stoudemire's even intimated, of course, during the year of trying to join that class of 2010. But that scenario has changed dramatically with the shift in the nation's economy, has it not?
Correct.
A lot of people are changing their strategies now.
Yes,
you get the real feeling that if you are secured with your contract now, you're looking for an extension in this kind of environment. O'Neal lays it up and in, uses the offhand. Why not?
Once again, Shaq gets fronted, and the pass goes up over the man who's fronting and to Shaq. And they've done an excellent job. Watch this now. They come around and try to gamble. Shaq, once he makes the catch, it's been all over.
a bunch of points right now. The Suns with 131. Shaq doing major damage. 11 of 13 from the field. 24 points. 20 minutes of work. You'll be very efficient work in his 17th season in this league.
Well, you can see right now, Kareem played 21 years, but in year 17, he and Karl Malone are the only ones who score more than Shaq. Now, Robert Parrish at 12-6 and then Hakeem at 11-9. But I always like to bring this up about Shaq. In Shaq's first 12 years in the league, right, he was in the top 10 in points, rebound, field goal percentage, and block shots. During that 12-year period, only one guy did that, and he did it only 2 times. Shaq did it 12 straight years. That was Hakeem Olajuwon. Now that is a staggering stat.
Morrow steps back, and Anthony Morrow, the rookie from Georgia Tech, sends it in. (132-106). The last time these clubs met, Turiaf played Shaq tough. That was back on February the 6th. Shaq only had 12 points in that game. He got an early foul trouble. Dragic, long range 3, guns it down. The lefty lines it up.
You know, everything always comes down to game plans also. Tonight I thought the game plan was great. Get the guy to the defensive circle in the paint. This team cannot stop him. Take advantage of that, ride the horse and ride him. And by keep feeding him, he's going to continue to go up and down and rebound and do the things for you needed.
And the Suns put 46 points on the Warriors in the third quarter, with Shaq getting a lot of rest. And now, as he makes his pivot move, he steps out of bounds, so the Warriors will get it back. Jason Richardson was the architect for the Suns back in the third. He has scored 31 points for the ball game, and is hit prolifically from threes. 4-5 out there right now. He is resting. Here's Crawford now looking to enter the ball to Turiaf.
Well, there's no doubt that the 2-3 zone has given a problem to Golden State. Remember, they had 72 points at the half, and they are staying outside and it's being sporadic. No more getting into the painted area off the dribble and attacking you. Now, they did that for a few times at the beginning of the 2-3 zone, but then as we wore on, the 2-3 zone has been in favor of Phoenix.
O'Neal fouled as he makes the move, but on a pass off. 144 points scored by the Warriors against the New York Knicks on February the 10th, the most in the NBA this year. The Suns are at 135 right now with 6:56 to play.
Now, do you think that the people get Taco Bell's or Burger King or something if they get 150? What do you think? 150 they could get here. 15 points in 7 minutes. I think they could do it.
Well, we could give them your credit card and just give them hot dogs on their way home.
But I noticed not too many are leaving. All right, so there must be some kind of a reward here that we don't know about.
Well, it's Sunday night, and nobody's got to go to work tomorrow morning. Well, we hope they have work. Here's O'Neal at the line. And he rolled it in. So Shaq at the line now for the record. 4 of 9, 26 points. Skip pass to Maggette. The extra pass to Morrow in the corner. Sails over into the hands of Turiaf. That's as good as a pass for the two-handed jam.
Yeah, it's one of the very few offensive board scores that we've had for Golden State in this second half.
Suns have led by as many as 25. Dragic getting a 3 again. Shaq volleys. Look at him get up on tiptoes.
Nice.
He had Hill wide open, but instead he goes to Dudley. He wants to give him a little love, and he knocks down the jumper.
Nice pass, and a good look by Dudley. Dudley's been playing well for them in the last couple of weeks. He's getting more time since Gentry has become the coach, and he's an all-service guy. He can get out there now and fill up the stat columns for you because he's a worker. Now keep an eye on Shaq. Now watch down at the bottom of your screen. See, Shaq will see you. Like we told you earlier, the people out there are small, so he can look over the double team.
Ellis knives in, kicks it to Morrow. Grant Hill seals the rebound. Dragic, the Slovenian, up the floor. The 23-year-old hands to Dudley, running the lane and laid it in.
Remember we told you, you get in that 2-3 zone. The big pressure for you is to make sure you block out and hold the other team to one shot. But if you do that, you can get out on the break. And that's what Phoenix has done in this second half. get it out, and then score in the 3-on-1 and 3-on-2 situations.
41-13, 5:45 to go in the fourth. Shaquille O'Neal having a heck of a ball game at 26, goes to the bench. We've been talking a lot about MVPs now. If you follow the NBA, and this is a great debate going on. Dwayne Wade now has inserted himself into that discussion about MVP with LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, who, as you know, was the MVP last year in the league, the first time he was named as the MVP in his career. Yubi, where do you stand in the debate?
Well, I think as of today, LeBron James is doing it, and he carried his team through a multitude, of injuries. But we know that Kobe is right there breathing on his neck. And then Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade right now is a shade under 30 points a game. He's second in the league in steals. He's 8th in the league in assists. Now, step back from it all and say, all right, who has the better team? Well, the better all-around team, probably maybe you'd say the Lakers and Cleveland are in a toss-up. So he has the third team here. He's playing with a lot of young people. He's playing with guys who are happy to be in the league. The only proven star, and he's on the way down. You have O'Neal at the center position.
Yep.
He is carrying this team, not only with the points, but the leadership, the maturity. Every time they need a big play, he breaks your defense down. He breaks down the double teams and the triple teams. Teams are double teaming him and bringing a big man across, so he's going 1 against 3. He's still getting to the rim. Now, I don't know how you overlook what this guy is doing. Can they catch Atlanta? See, that's the big question. Can they catch Atlanta for that fourth
and
place?
home court advantage?
That's right, and home court advantage. If that happens, it could, I'll tell you, a lot of people, you got to open up your eyes here now, because he is carrying a franchise that no one thought could ever win as many games as they've won. Remember, they won 15 games last year.
Yep. And come back from the injury that he had.
That's right.
Perform at such a high level. They had 50 last night against the Utah Jazz, who've been playing some great basketball in the double overtime, albeit a game that Utah probably should have won. A 7-point lead with a minute left in regulation. And then Utah ends their road trip with a loss to Orlando this evening. Here's Tucker with a 3. Rounded out Maggette with the rebound. All right, in the West, the Los Angeles Lakers. I just mentioned the Utah Jazz. Do the Jazz have the juice to win the West this year?
Well, I always say this. People say to me, well, the Lakers are favored, no doubt about it. If Bynum comes back, we know that they're going to be a heavy favorite, but he has to get in shape, and let's see how many games he's going to play down the wire before we start the playoffs. That's number one. Number two, can San Antonio get Ginobili back 100%? Because last year, in spite of all their problems, they got and played the Los Angeles Lakers, sure, but they went down 4 games to 1. Why? Because Ginobili wasn't healthy. Is he going to be healthy? Now, if he's not healthy, Utah's got a great shot here because Boozer's back. They developed a lot of good young players who had to step up, like Miles and Millsap, people like this. But they have to have a healthy Okur, a healthy Kurolenko, who's missed a ton of games, as well as a healthy Boozer. Now, early in the year, I had them twice. The people up there in Utah honestly thought this is the best Utah team. And you'd say the best ever, and they'd say the best ever. But then all of the injuries happen, okay? So to me, they have a legitimate choice. It always comes down to when you get at playoff time and you start making your march, you do not want to meet the one team that for some reason has your number. And it's whether it's style of play, coaching, whether it's major matchups, whatever it is, they own you. And what you always want to do on your way to get out of the East or the West is to make sure that you do not run into that one team.
And the Utah Jazz, as you saw there in the standings, are vacillating between 6 and 7. Right now, that Northwest Division up for grabs. Portland, Utah, Denver virtually tied for first. So Utah would have to win that division, hold home court advantage, because the other thing working against the Jazz, UB, is the fact that they are not an accomplished road team. They've had a domination in that building. They've had the best record at home the last 2 years, but on the road, they have been uneven.
Well, they have the second best record with Portland behind the Los Angeles Lakers. They're 28-6 at home. Now, their road record, 13-19.
Yeah.
What was their problem last year? The road record. Now, we did that series in the second round, LA and Utah, and it was a great series, but LA was able to win the one game in Utah. It was a great game, but Utah could not play with them out in LA.
Dragic with it. The Slovenian will air it out, and the lefty knocks it down. Dragic, a second-round draft choice, originally of the San Antonio Spurs, and then traded for another second-round pick. Most points in a game tonight by the Suns this year in the NBA, 147. The Warriors keep chugging along as Crawford scores with 2:59 left. And Dragic throws in another one, 149 points.
Well, the big thing, you're saying here right now, I'll be Golden State's calling a timeout so they can get in a few substitutes.
And with that, 2:44 left. See what these two teams can conjure up with 2:45. I'm guessing between them, 30 points. We'll see in a moment. Year, as everybody knows, for injuries in the NBA. We start with the Phoenix Suns, a detached retina in the right eye, as sideline Amari Stoudemire for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs. And the Golden State Warriors have had 39 different lineups or starting fives because of injuries. And look at the numbers total here tonight. NBA season high, 271 points. That was Golden State involved with the Knicks. Tonight we have 270, so we're going to see that one shattered. We've already seen the most points scored in a ball game tonight, put up by the Suns with 149. Previously, Golden State with 144 against the New York Knicks in that same game we just referred to. And the offense with 149. You got to be doing some things right. How about shooting well? 63%, 39 assists, and you got to be running and scoring. 54 fast break points. NBA season high, 149.
Well, since the All-Star break, Phoenix is #1 in fast break scoring, and then Golden State is second. Now, I thought early in the game, I didn't know whether Phoenix could keep up the pace, and I thought they did a great job in the second half. You could see the fatigue in the middle of that third quarter, but they went to the zone, they shifted gears, they made some substitutions. The substitutes took that lead and just blew it right out to 20 plus. It's just been a great 10-man contribution here by the Suns, and they needed it since they played last night and traveled.
Stromile Swift, who played for UB Brown when UB was coaching there in Memphis, hits the little turnaround jumper.
Well, Stroh did a very good job for us. You know, he would alternate at the center position with Lorenzen Wright, and the year that we won 50 and made the playoffs, Stroh was a double-figure scorer and also an excellent rebounder.
Dragic on the break has Tucker ahead, scoops, and Tucker scores. Badgers getting into the big dance. Bob Kerr's Notre Dame Irish. Been kind of folded in the last month and a half of the season. Here's Davidson rolling this one off the fingertips and regrouping.
But when you look at that league, if it's true, right, three #1s, I mean, out of that league, I mean, that's what a tribute to Big East basketball.
Dragic handling out there as time winds down on this one with a minute and a half left. 153 to 125. Robin Lopez, one of the twins out of Fresno, California. Played at Stanford. Look at Randolph handle across midcourt, behind the back, crossing over into the lane. Touches right to left hand. Randolph lays it in and drew the foul. And did that look a little bit like Lamar Odom bringing the ball off the floor? Just a little bit.
A little bit is right. I mean, this guy can do it. He can handle a basketball. I don't care who you talk to here. Everybody is high on this young man. You have to remember now, he's only 19 years old. And this is his first year in the league, and they're splitting the time between he and Brandon Knight at that power forward position.
We talked to Jim Barnett, who for years was just a terrific player with the Golden State Warriors, doing the broadcast for so many years now for the Warriors before the game. And I asked him if Randolph reminded him of Marcus Camby. He says a little bit. He says, but he reminds me of Lamar Odom. He says, watch the way he handles that ball.
Yeah, that's a major plus in Odom's game, no doubt about it.
Davidson will tee it up, miss it, and Stromile Swift with the recovery. Jared Dudley not going to make his living in the NBA throwing lob passes as he sails that one over Tucker and out of bounds. SportsCenter coming up after the ball game. Obviously taking a look at the brackets as they square off the NCAA tournament. Is in the offing. Here's Tucker over to Lopez. Slashed and fouled by Bob Kerr. Stops the clock with 31 9/10 left. 153-128.
Now, remember, the pressure for Phoenix, they have 15 games left. 8 at home, 7 on the road. Can they beat the plus 500 teams? They are only 14 and 23 against the plus 500. That will decide whether or not they make the playoffs.
Come home after tonight. The midweek game against Philadelphia, Washington, Denver, Utah, then at Portland on the second of a back-to-back. At Utah and at Sacramento to finish up the month of March. They're 1-2 against Dallas, a team that they would have to overcome. They meet Dallas on April the 5th in Phoenix. And they will play the Warriors on April 15th to wrap up the season. Spun around and fouled as Morrow, and Stromile Swift got a piece of it.
They have enough talent. They have enough talent to beat the sub-500s. The key will be, can they beat the good teams? Can they beat the teams that are in the playoff hunt in the East and in the West? That's what it's all about. And I just say tonight we saw their bench come in and make a nice production for them. But can this bench score in these big games? And that's going to be their question, because when you move Barnes up now, all you have is Barbosa as a proven scorer when you rotate those next 5 guys.
You've got a hustle guy, obviously, in Lewis Amundsen, but other than that, well, not a lot of resources.
You can't count on points from him now. You can count on the hustle and the boards and the defense and all of that, but can you score the ball?
Well, this one is over. A game that the Suns needed, had to have in order to become a player for that last playoff spot. They are 4 back in the loss column behind Dallas and still very much in the race. And they dust off the Warriors with the highest scoring game in the NBA this year, 154 to 130. SportsCenter is coming up next.